came as a consequence. But then I gave evidence because I had got papers with me from a previous assessment or district hospital. So I had, since I had papers, I had documentary evidence, so I was able to convince my superiors. That's what the fact is. So, what I have observed over the course of years, now at this stage I don't think that I am supposed to only give you piece of information which Google or now ChatGPT is good enough to give you, better than me. What I am supposed to do is to hammer your conscience, to look at your own COE and design the appropriate interventions which are commensurate with the resources at your disposal. And then you do intervention, do baseline studies, institute interventions, and then do post-intervention impact assessment. Pick up one area, then you publish it for others to follow. That's what I'm supposed to do. Instead of simply, becoming a conduit of some piece of information from some source to you. That's not my role at this stage. I am here to share my experience, but I have experience over the course of years in different capacities. I was in charge of HIPC at IIMSR as well, and I'm in charge of HIPC at PGI as well. Wall sealants. Wall coverings, fluid resistant and easily cleanable, painted with epoxy. Why do we talk of this? Any idea? Why do we talk of these wall sealants? की बात करते ही क्यों हैं हम? Will you talk of it? Anyone from the audience? क्या purpose है इसका? Yeah.
Basically, facilitate the cleaning of the thing,
Anything else? Yeah.
Biofilms get developed.
To prevent the bacteria and microorganisms from the water.
Okay. What else?
Chances of having the fungal.
So, see, there are many, all of you are correct. See, why do we need to know about sealants? First thing is that it should be seamless. Why seamless? It should not provide any nidus for microbes to settle and grow on. Second, sealants or other surface coverings should not be able to retain moisture. Epoxy will not retain moisture, where a marble can. Are you getting my point? And then what someone else told that it should be, say for example, coving. Why we say coving instead of the usual acute angle? Because it leads to better access for the HK workers while taking care of the primary cleaning before the HIC team, depending upon the criticality of the area, does the second layer of cleaning. Correct? So try to understand the concept rather than the fact. Fact can vary. If you understand the concept, you can design the facts for your location specific. That's the theme. Resource constraint setting में कैसे काम करना है. Use of materials in finishes, stainless steel to replace plastic wherever possible. Plastics hold microorganisms longer than stainless steel. You know this? And now it has come to be known and proven that copper, even if you go to US, the best hotel they serve, they are started using it because they keep the water bacteria free for longer duration, even better than the stainless steel, which we are using since long. Now when you are, there was a study, recently I was studying how increased use of single-use items in OT or ICU is leading to other complications. So instead of blindly following someone's specific intervention to your place will not lead you to the intended outcome that you are aiming at or you are aiming at. So you have to be insightful enough to understand the concept and design or create your own ways. Surface clean and dry. Less risk of infection, we all know. Dry, moist, wet, shady area, they favor fungal growth, correct? Materials to be resistant to chemicals of cleaning solution, that's very important. Recently we revamped our all entire disinfectants, in year 2022 at PGI. We have to be very careful that what chemical we are recommending, what strength we are recommending, what dilution we are recommending based upon the area to be used and what frequency. And we have recommended at HIC. But is it actually being practiced? Is there a system of monitoring? What actually is being done by nurses or their support staffs or the housekeeping staffs? 8 out of 10 times or 7 out of 10 times, even at AIMS I have seen. We used to go, every Tuesday we used to go on HIC rounds at AIMS. Every Tuesday it was fixed. And there was an infection control committee and there was a core committee. Not everybody used to come, the core committee used to go for a HIC round for any clinical area, a surprise round. Every Tuesday there is a round that was fixed. But where will we go? Nobody used to know. So we have seen, we used to seal the solutions or dilutions and send it to laboratory outside AIMS for third-party validation. We used to pick up the sealed gloves and send to third-party validation, other laboratory. And we have got reports. मुझे तो खुद याद है 3-4 occasions जहाँ पे मुझे मिल गया. Otherwise I would have gone to supply chain. मैंने इसको स्टोर में इन्फॉर्म किया, सप्लाई रुकवाया उसका. And we have come across a similar instance recently at PGI, when something was coming, I will not name that, one product which was being used in clinical areas, and that led to an outbreak. But institutions where people or team is as vigilant, then we actually end up getting some significant output and then course correction. But have you thought of it? Have you designed some system of, making a guideline, getting it published, putting it on your website, rather easy. Ensuring that it is practiced the same way every day, minute by minute, calls for commitment. Wall bases in all clinical areas and kitchens to be made integral university. So I began with that word. With the floor, without voids. Again the same. You are supposed to allow the crevices or some crypts and something or some hideout areas where microbes can get shelter or nidus and go on. Few photographs. Finishing around plumbing fixtures should be smooth and water resistant. Pipe penetrations and joints should be tightly sealed with smooth finishes. I believe it is known to all, but if you make a checklist and go along in your own hospital and do a reality check. We used to do as a resident at AIMS. Now, obviously, I am not able to do for want of time, but we used to do it regularly over there at different centers with a printed, print up tablet, app, whatever. With a printed checklist, is to go and actually see on site, do a reality check, then we used to report to our superiors, and then interventions used to be designed, instituted, then post-intervention impact assessment. That's the way we progressed. Few examples, put pictorial examples. Ceilings. Sterile areas to have finished ceilings which should cover all conduits, piping and duct work. By the way, Dr. Arena, how much time do I have? I have to pace myself accordingly. Okay. So I'll be just touching upon the headers. Light fittings should be flush type and sealed to prevent dust ingress. Acoustic ceilings, not very recommended. Door windows, and again we did many experimentation in OT and ICU at AIMS. Here I have not done that. Okay, which type of door is required and which type of ceiling is required. No touch doors we also used to have. We did many experiments and we succeeded. Whenever you used to get some concern raised by the user end, you used to go and design a solution for that. Gaps, strict no, as less as possible, anywhere. Even in your, except in your intervention studies, their gaps should be more. You can prove that earlier it was like this, now there is a huge gap and it has gone down. Except this thing, no gaps allowed. ये फोटोग्राफ हमारे यहाँ की है, by the way. Special areas, then I have touched upon, but I don't have time. But I would like to request you, those who are actually interested to work in the area of HIC, and if they want to look at it from the perspective of hospital engineering services, and if they intend to look at the environment of care, then they should attune themselves to these areas with a set of certain focused parameters. There are generic parameters or elements or standards or objectives, and there are specific elements or parameters or objectives. I hope you understand functional segregation. When we study medical architecture, so when a hospital is being designed, it's also looked at from the perspective of functional integration as to which area should be close to which area. For example, blood bank has to be close to OT, something like that. Recovery room has to be nearby OT. Step down ICU has to be where you have to have the SDU, where you have to have nursing station, how the cubicles are to be placed, depending upon the concept of progressive patient care. I'll not be going to the details of the specific areas because it's a comprehensive talk which I used at many forums. So I tried to give you a glimpse of, not even a glimpse, I tried to just develop a perspective, a way of looking at the EOC from the HIC angle. Ward planning. What is this? Can anyone name? ये कैसा ward है?
जनरल जनरल वार्ड
Nightingale.
अच्छा
ICUs, floor area, wasn't basin, ICU design, isolation facilities, negative, positive, and standard or neutral. This all comes under the EOC. NICU, OT zoning, pressure gradient, flooring, projections, strict no in OTs. Ventilation system. Super specialty and transplant OT have little more different higher stringent parameters. Conventional ventilation, laminar flow, and then ultra clean ventilation, where you change the degree of level of the roof that allows the egress of air in a different way. Flooring material, marble and terrazzo, they retain moisture, so must be avoided in a patient care area, especially the critical and semi-critical areas. Laboratory, all of you are from laboratory, I won't touch upon that. Laundry, CSSD, all these have an element of it. The EOC and the HIC part, even kitchen as well. The even at AIIMS kitchen there was no dado. When I was given the charge of dietary services at AIIMS 10-15 years back, there was no dado in there. And there was no quality check. There was no system of looking at or examining the dietary services from HIC perspective, which I have instituted here at PGI. Monthly report comes to me from the kitchen services and a standard checklist. Renovation. I'll share one example because time is running out. Cardiothoracic and Neurosciences Center at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, information came that the post-op ICU CBTS has suddenly the HCI rate has increased too much. So it came to us, being part of the team, and then we examined through a standard protocol, and then we didn't find any deviation from protocol within the ICU premises. Nonetheless, it was happening. So what we came to know of, that ICU was not an integral part of ICU, it was later on made the ICU. And the AC air conditioning was not by way of central conditioning with AHU, rather that's outdoor units. No, not even that. This your conventional AC, window ACs. And northeast to that center, a building was being demolished, and that window AC was there. So now you understand the thing? So what did we do? We did create a barrier. You can see here, like this. We created a We just created a barrier, and within few days, the HI rate came down. Live example, which we actually did. So when you renovate means the hospital is functional, and you are doing some changes. And then there was sudden increase in the HI. So there is an entirely small subset of the EOC vis-a-vis HIC under engineering services. You have to be very careful. Otherwise, it can create havoc. More so in the COVID times, you also saw that. You got many reports because of shared AHU, infection spreading very fast. It was reported. To conclude, because I was supposed to create an interest in you to look at the hospital infection and control practices from the perspective of hospital engineering, so I would like to conclude with these lines. Not all architects and engineers can plan or design a hospital. So whenever, at least in Delhi, whenever the government plans for a hospital, they also keep a hospital architect or their services. Not all builders can construct a hospital. It's a different ballgame. Reduction or increase in HAI depend upon quality of architecture as well, up to 20%, 1/5. And to reduce HAI, the architects, engineers, builders and users will need to work together in synchrony, in symphony with the healthcare team. Thank you very much. If you have any concern, you're welcome.